And so for the Novice Challenge, we're going to insert a table, charts. We're going to animate some charts. We're going to hyperlink one slide to another and add buttons so that you can navigate through a slide deck. It's great for creating interactive tools. So let's begin by adding a slide beneath. Here we have an empty slide. Let's just put a bit of background color in because it is rather bland. We have been using teal colors. I rather like that. And so we're going to insert a table. Now, you go down to table, and if you drag the table, you'll see it can be any size you want. I'm going to make it a 3-row, 4-column chart, or table. So, in this, I don't want it to be the same color as my background, so I'm actually going to put a white frame in there. I'm going to change this top header to a different shade, so that way it's more dramatic. Okay. I'm also, in this header, going to change or stylize, changing the lettering so it's white. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to make it 30. I am also going to change the font so it suits the rest of the the slideshow, Google Slides. I'm going to have Poe as my first poet. I'm going to have Shakespeare. And obviously, that's not going to work, is it? So how about we change the size of the font, take it down a notch. That's one of the wonderful things about this. You're able to align everything. We're going to have Kath Walker, an incredible Australian poet, and Tennyson. Now, as you can see, it's all left aligned. So by highlighting it again, I can take it along, make it centered, and then I have information. My students could put in poetic techniques, they could put in all sorts of things, and I might actually ask them to make a paragraph based upon the poets and their work. But I don't want them doing it in columns, so how about I merge these cells so that there then becomes a space to write the paragraph. I can move my table around, but if I would like to center it, guidelines come in. And so we have a table that works. I'm going to place it there because I'm going to also now insert a chart. And I have a choice with charts. I have a bar chart, a column chart, a line chart, and a pie chart. And I can, if I want, go from sheets, which we'll look at in a minute. But pie chart. By selecting pie chart, it gives me a basic pie chart to work with. And as you can see, points scored and teams have nothing to do with poetry. So I'm going to open the source. And as you can see the green line as it's rendering the sheet, it tells you when it's complete. Up arrow until you get to the top. And by going into that first cell, hitting shift, dragging and dropping, you can delete all the data that's there. I'm going to put in my data. Poe, Shakespeare, Kath Walker, and Tennyson. Now, when it comes to how popular Poe might be, I might say out of my cohort, 89 people really liked his work. 79 liked Shakespeare. 99 liked Kath Walker. 67 liked Tennyson. And you can see I now have a chart that's been created based upon my data. And if I were to change it, I would update it. And you can also see that it hasn't got the title I need. So by double clicking on the, don't want that. There we go. Double clicking on the title, I can change it. Poets. Poets, popularity. We have our chart. Let's go and have a little look what's happening in our chart. you'll see now there's an update button. So click the update button and you'll notice that the poet's popularity is there and the poet's pie graph is there. As I said before, I will show you how to do sheets at another time, but we're also going to insert a chart from sheets. So let's have a little look at a pivot table sample that I have. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to talk about the healthy and junk, and I'm going to import that. Now, as you can see, I have a chart, but my students might want to go to the actual source and see the data that's there, so they actually can. Going back, however, we're going to look now at animating. So I'm going to animate this particular image. I'm going to make it a fade in, and let's have a little look. We're going to play it and see what happens when I click. Okay, so it comes in. I go back and stop that. I'm also going to animate this one. I'm going to add an animation, and I'll use the same thing, but I have some other choices. I can choose to do it after the previous one. So let's have a little look and see what happens if I do that. Okay, or go back to stop. I can also fade in after previous, but I can also with previous, so the two of them come in together. Okay, and this slider here gives you the speed at which it works. If I was to put it on medium, you'd see what I mean. It takes a while for them to render. So I tend to use something a bit closer to the top end. Another thing that you might like to do is create true and false slides, a quiz that directs students. So in this situation, I've got a picture of Edgar Allan Poe and I have a question. Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven, true or false? And with true, I have made it, I can take this edit off, but let me go back to that, sorry. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm going to lose the link for the moment. So I want to hyperlink that. I'm going to go up to link and I'm going to make it the next slide, which is slide 7. The no, I want to make slide 8, so I hyperlink it to slide 8. And as you can see, this is the problem, because sometimes it gets to a point where you can't easily access the full range. See, what I wanted was this that said working through down to slide 8. Okay, now once I've put that in, I can bring it back and align it again. So what I might also do though is there we go. Right, so I'm going to have a little look. Let's have a look at our slideshow. Let's go to the very beginning. If you remember from our previous workshop, you could see how to do the first stages. This is the poetry training deck. You were able to go to London and visit the web page that I created for that. You were also able to hear me read one of my poems. This is a poem I wrote a number of years ago. It's called Concrete Pillows. Okay. You have the YouTube of the song Streets of London. And I must admit, I like having it in Google Slides because it plays directly in the slide. We have my little images that I put in previously. So now I go to click, it takes me to the work we did on Basecamp. We inserted different things. We learned about the transitions. Congratulations! And now, what I do know is I need to go to the next because I need to put another link in. So, when I come to exit, I escape, and you'll notice when I go back to slide congratulations, I actually need to make a link to say continue. So, I will put another text box and put in click to continue. Then changing the font, making it white or a color, bold, might make it 30, and I'm going to have to add another slide beneath this one because I need a slide to put my next question for question 2. So text box in here, question 2, again, sorry. I get a little bit clumsy when I've got birds going crazy in the background. Taking it to 30, taking it to PT Sans. I'm going to make it that color now. And this is slide 9. So when we get to having congratulations, I need to hyperlink this so that it goes to slide 9. Now, as we saw before, sometimes it takes a bit of moving these around to get, whoops daisy, hyperlink, please let it go down. There is a bit down there that says, oops, where is it? That one? Right, there we go. And I want slide 9. Okay. Change the colour of the font because it's a little bit too hard to read. Okay. And what I would also like to do, something else you can do, is actually add a Bitmoji or something along the lines so that it personalizes your work and your students get to enjoy congratulations. Get to enjoy seeing you in a different way. I think that it's a nice way to personalize your work. And so you could also, congratulations, you can also hyperlink that if you choose. And we're putting it onto slide 9. 9, apply. Oh, that's because it's, as I said, it's a bit hard to access. We move you up there, hyperlink you again, slides this presentation, going down to slide 9. Okay, and now I can move that to where I want it, and I can resize it, move me along there. Okay, now the other thing I think is a good idea is to play with the animations, the transitions between the slides. So let's have a little look. At the moment we have no slides. This is the motion button. And we only have a handful that are useful here because when you have a vast array of slide transitions, it can become very mind-boggling and quite hard to view. So fortunately, Google have limited us to some very good, effective transitions. And I'm going to go slide from right, and I'm going to apply it to all slides. The other thing is, again, I can change the speed. Naturally, we don't want it to be a long, drawn-out affair. So as you can see down the side, they're all there. Let's have a little look now at the slideshow. We no longer need to go through each and discuss all the slides. The work is there. You can see it. You can go to your true false. I can go back to continue, I go back to question 2, and then I'm done. So we can see that the transitions are there. They're working well. That is our first, actually it's not, it's the second Google Slides demonstration and training. I would like you now, please, to add your own to your own slide deck.